So now, okay, I got two recorders open. Let's make sure I'm taping here. Okay, so now we're actually going to, for the first time since we did those two kind of activities at the beginning of the year, which was like 5 classes ago, right? Where you were doing the puzzle and the island, right? We talked about that. That was what you would call geometric. Now, up to now, we have been adding a constant term every time. Now we're going to be multiplying a constant term. Now, what do we call that thing that we add every time? What is it called? Good. Common difference. Today we're going to be multiplying by something every time, and it's not called the common multiplier. It's called the common ratio. So it's given the letter R. Okay? Now, if you look at number 1, what do you think the common ratio would be? Just look at this one. There's my HP. There it is. So here, what is the common ratio right there? 1.5. What would it be? What kind of series is that? Or sequence. It's arithmetic. So it has a common difference of 2. Now, what about this one? The R is 2. Now, do you see how they both start 2, 4? So, how many people am I going to catch that are just going to look at the first 2, get the ratio, and then move on? How many of you? Put up your hand if you can do that. Nobody? Well, that's pretty awesome. Okay? So, what's the moral of the story here? Check the first 2, check the next 2, and make sure it's the same. If it's not the same, then you just probably saved yourself from getting that question wrong. Okay? It is what I'm trying to, what you guys are going to be undergoing the next couple weeks, a month, is really coming up to that level of being so picky with everything and being almost like, heightened to look for every little thing. That's how you're going to do well in this class, right? If you are, I guess, not one of those people that's going to be really observant and look for things, it's not going to go well, okay? Now, what is the common ratio here? I already said it. 2, okay? Now, can somebody give me the 5-year-old explanation? Okay, not the one that's 5 years old, but if you were talking to a 5-year-old, how would you tell them to be able to find the answer to? Okay? Someone isn't here today, and they ask you, can you like to explain, like, how do you find R? Okay? And again, you can try and sound smart and everything and make it complicated, but if you truly understand it, you should be able to be quite simple with it. How do you find R? Yeah? Okay? So now, how do you find R for all of them, not just for this one? What is the general way to find? Remember the general way we found D? What's the general way to find R? Okay, you want to try again? Okay, so we want to take the term and divide the term to the left of it, right? So we want to take Tn and divide it by Tn minus 1, the one right before it. Because no matter where you do that, it should work out, correct? And try it twice. Because I don't want to catch any of you on the quiz, and I don't want to catch any of you on the unit exam. I mean, there's a few of you on the quiz today, because you got D wrong on the very first question, you got it all wrong. Is the simplest part going to mess you up? That is frustrating. It's frustrating for me to mark, and it's frustrating for you to have done it, right? So why don't you spare us all the frustration and just really keep your eye on things. Okay, now we're just going to go through, I'm not going to do tons of examples. Let's just start up. What would be the common ratio in A? Oops, R equals 2. What would be in B? -5, right? Okay, let's just do example 2A. What's the R? R is 3. So what do you think the next two terms would be? What would T5 be, and what would T6 be? $648. And what's nice about your calculator is when you get that, and then you go times 3 again, right? And you will get 1944. Okay, how about B? 2/3? Not 2/3. So you're getting 2/3, you're getting a half. 3/2? Wouldn't be a negative. Okay, now everybody has to put up their hand. Put up their hand. Everybody, put up your hand. Put up your hand. How many people are going to call this a common ratio or a geometric without even checking? Is this geometric? Yes or no? Come on. It's either geometric or it's not. What is the definition for geometric series or sequence? The same common ratio. Does everybody know what common means? It means every single time. Does it have the same ratio every single time? Is it a geometric? No. Okay. What is it? It's arithmetic. What's the D? Yep. D equals -36. It is, and this is arithmetic. Okay? So I asked people a little while ago, who's going to do that? No one said they were going to do it. And then I gave you a question. Everybody does it, right? Now, why did you think it was geometric? Because we just learned it, and we're doing it right now, right? But remember now, the more you know, the tougher this course is going to get. Okay? And it's kind of like life. Believe me, if you lived in one room your whole life, you would know everything about that room. Okay? The scary thing about when you actually open that door is you get to see how little you know now. And it's funny, the more you travel, the more you learn. The more you learn, you start to see, man, there's so much more to learn, right? So it is quite humble as you're always going, well, this, you're going to learn so much. How are you going to keep all this stuff organized? Okay, that little piece of paper, one side, study sheet, right? And how are you going to remember this stuff in 5 months? Because you're going to pick up that study sheet and you're going to be so thankful that you did it. And there's going to be people beside you that didn't do the first one, okay? I still have people that are in grade 9, grade 10, some in grade 7 mode. They won't do a study sheet for this first one. Okay? They will do poorly on their exam. They will be having a discussion with me, trying to figure out what are we going to do now. Right? And probably you're going to say, okay, I get it now. I'm going to study, and I'll do a study sheet, and okay? So, you got to ask yourself, is that going to be you? Or is that going to be the person beside you? Okay? Now, let's look at this is a University of Marine Biology. They're studying the growth of a strand of moss, and they're finding that in day 1, it weighs 8 grams. In day 2, it weighs 12. In day 3, it's 18. In day 4, it's 27. Now, is that geometric or arithmetic? Which one? Okay, what's the R? Okay, good. Okay, so it's 3 over 2, or what we say is 1.5. So check that this times this is 1.5, this times this is 1.5, and this times this is 1.5. If it is, then you have yourself a geometric series, or sequence, I should say. Series will have pluses in between. We'll do those on Monday. So let's say that term 1 would equal 8, right? Now, term 2 would be 8 times 1.5. Does that make sense? Okay. How do you get term 3? Yeah, 8 times 1.5 times 1.5, which is 1.5 squared, right? How would you get term 4? 8 times 1.5 cubed. Okay? Now, hands up. How would you find Tn for this one? How would you find Tn? Yes? AR to the... So, for this one, I would go 8 times 1.5 to the n minus 1. Is everybody seeing the pattern? 4, 3. When this is 3, that's 2. When this is 2, what's over here? There's a 1. Now, does that even make sense with the first one? That means this should be 1.5 to the 0. What's 1.5 to the 0? Try your calculator. 1.5 to 0. It's 1. What's 8 times 1? So it works. So, all you have to do is take, now this, remember we said was our A, and this was our R. So all you have to do is Tn equals A to the R to the n minus 1. AR to the 10 minus 1. N minus 1. Okay? And as you come down here, you will see there are 2 formulas to know. When would you use the first one? When would you use the second one? They're the same formula, right? Why are they the same formula? They don't look the same. A equals T1, right? And again, I do think it's very funny that even on your, let's say like an Alberta formula sheet, they have both all the time. I think it's pretty funny. But, I guess, but, you know, if they learn that A equals R, or T1, then they don't have to learn all that stuff. Okay, let's do this one. We got 5, 15, 45. It says find T9. Now, remember what I've always said. Don't go looking for stuff until you know what you're looking for. Okay? People like to just jump into it. They like to, and I'm like, do you even know what you're looking for? They're like, N? It says T9, so they tell you 9 terms. Like, why are you looking for N? It's right there. Okay? You're not looking for N. So, write down your formula. A, R to the n minus 1. Do I know Tn? No. That's what I'm looking for. Do I know A? 5. Do I know R? 3 to the 9 minus 1. Now that's the same thing as 8. But you know that if I put 8 there all the time, I just mess with people's heads. Some people are like, "What? Where'd you get the 8?" And I'm like, 9 minus 1. And they're like, "Oh, okay." So I just put 9 minus 1. And I'll always put that so I don't lose a few people. Because where did I get the 9 from? I'm looking for term 9, okay? So, get in your calculator. And please don't tell me. I'm going to ask some lucky person to give me the answer. So, in this series, what is the ninth term? Ryan. It looks like it's wrong, hey, but it's not. 32,805. Nice. Okay, so very basic. So, right, on Monday's quiz, I'm going to have the did you show up for class question, right? Can you get that stuff? Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, so now, what's another thing we could throw in there? I'm not always going to ask you the term, but I may ask you, hey, how many terms are there? Right, we've already done arithmetic, so we know the type of questions they can ask. We're just going to do all the same stuff, but for geometric. So when I'm looking for how many terms, what's the variable I'm looking for? N, right? Now, again, let's look at this thing right here, and let's write down our formula. Tn equals AR to the n minus 1. Okay, so again, don't go looking for stuff until you know what you're looking for. What do I know? What's Tn? 16,384. Okay? Hands up now. What else do I know in here? Yes, what's R? How'd you get that? Good. Check both of them. It is 2. We know A, but who knows A? Put up your hand. Don't yell it out. What is A? Yes. Back. 32. Okay? So let's just put everything in its place. 16,384 equals A is 32. Now I like to always put my R in brackets. Now that n minus 1, is it talking to the 32 at all? No. Okay? Don't ever get that confused. That 2, the exponent to it is the n minus 1. But that 32, it's free. Okay? And what's the 32 doing to the 2? Multiplying. If I want to get rid of that 32, what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So never mix up addition, subtraction, or opposites. Multiplication, division. So let's divide 32 by both sides. Just makes it a little bit more manageable. So I will get 512, right? Equals 2 to the n minus 1. Okay? Now, I'm just going to write this down. 512 equals 2 to the n minus 1. How am I supposed to find n? What's that? And that's the common answer, but do you know that only when something is squared, so if I had y equals, like, say, 2 squared, if I square root a square, that's the opposite. Yeah, and there's no such, actually I need an n minus 1 root. If I was to n minus 1 the other side, what is that? We don't know, like we can't even do that, right? So next year I'm going to teach you logarithms that work on this, but we don't know them now, and I'm not going to spend a week teaching you to do this one question. So we got to come up with another way. What is the way that they always try to get you to do? Right from grade 1. And it's actually not as slow as you think. I heard someone say it. I thought I heard someone say it. Just Guess and test. Try it. Now, if you go 2 to the 8 and it's too big, what should you do? Try 2 to the 7. So everybody try it. What's the first one? Give me 2 to the what equals 512. 2 exponent what? 2 exponent, just try it. It's only going to take you about 30 seconds. Okay, so you got, does everybody agree with this statement? Okay, so the question I ask you is, what is n? 10. Does everyone see that? See, these have to equal each other, right? So n minus 1 has to equal 9. Add 1, n equals 10. So how do we do this? Guess and test, okay? On the worst day, it'll take you 30 seconds to get that. Okay? You just gotta kind of start somewhere. I wouldn't start at 2 to the 1. I wouldn't start at 2 to the 30. Okay? You gotta have to have a little bit of math sense there. But now, the other way to do it, there's another way to do it, and it's by using your graphing calculator. Now, in your graphing calculator, you're going to take, and in y1, I want you to go 2 to the exponent x minus 1. Always put them in brackets, or else it'll think that it's 2 to the x, all minus 1. We want it 2 to the exponent x minus 1. I want all that exponent, right? Okay, and then everybody hit zoom 6. It'll graph for you there. Yep. It's right here. See that right down there? It's right above the division sign. Right there, where my arrow is up there. You see the little arrow? It's pointing to that button. That exponent button right there. Oh, you're doing exponent now. Okay, now the newer ones are they actually make it nicely up there. Okay, they don't have the exponent button or the roof. That's on the new T84 pluses. Now, everybody hit zoom 6. Now what's happening is y2 is 512. That means it's doing a straight line at 512. Do you see what this is? 10. So it's way up there. So what you hit is your zoom, or sorry, window. Hit window, right there. And y max, make it like 700, because that's bigger than 512. And then you hit graph. Okay, now, if you didn't get it, that's okay, just look up here. This is the answer. See, it's right there. Right there. How do you get it? Did you guys do this last year? You do this, watch, everyone look. You hit second calc. You're going to do number 5, intersect. Now once you're there, you're going to hit enter 3 times. Enter, enter, enter. Come on, ta-da! X equals 10, y equals 512. Second trace 5, intersect. Okay. Okay, now, you guys, if you could just do this, go to your calculator. Okay, I need you to just right click on it and just do LCD black, and then you come over here and hit paste, okay, and just put this down here and just go like that, okay, and just, oh yeah, right, you guys don't have smartphones. Didn't want to rub that in. So can you just draw it quickly with your archaic pencils? And just kind of, what do we put for y1? We put y equals 2 exponent x minus 1. That's my exponent button. And for y2, I put 512. And it'll get it for you, x is 10. So it actually just pops out the right answer. Okay. How was that? Painful? Okay, good. It's supposed to be. If it hurts, it means you're learning. Okay. Now, remember we did with the arithmetic means, we had two numbers on the outside, and we had to find all the ones on the inside. Now, when we did arithmetic means, who remembers what helped us get those numbers on the inside? Which variable was really, really important if I wanted to get all those ones on the inside? Well, Tn would be the last number. N? No, I knew N. What does D help me with? Difference, yeah, what does it help me with? You can add it and get the next number, and then get the next number and the next number. If I gave you 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 over 729, what would be really awesome to know right now to get all those numbers? No. The ratio, the common ratio. So whenever you're looking for geometric means, you need R, right? Okay, so this, I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to use this formula. Tn equals AR to the n minus 1. Do I know, what kind of stuff can I throw in here? Let's get some stuff in here. What's Tn? So this is 1 over 729 equals 8 times 81. It's right there. We don't know. Okay, but what is 1 over 729? What term is that? T5 or T6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So this would be the 6 minus 1. Right? 6 minus 1 is also known as 5. Okay? It's always funny when I go, okay, what's 6 minus 1? And people pick up the calculator and they go 5. And I'm going, really? Really? You just picked up your calculator? That's when you know you're depending on your calculator just a little too much. If you're getting in your car to cross the street, you're depending on your car a little too much. Okay? Get in your car, drive around, go to the other side. That's probably could have walked. It would have been better. Okay, so now what can we do here? How can I solve for R? Divide by 81. Now, what happens if you take 1 over 729, divide by 81 in your calculator? Oh, good. So that one does it. That's the titanium. Titanium does it. The rest of us morals do not have the titanium. So you get a decimal. We'll hit math, enter, enter. Okay, so can you just write this down? This is what we have to do. 1 over 729 divided by 81 equals R to r to the 5, okay? Now I want to show you how to do 1 over 729 divided by 81. So let's just kind of go over here. This would be the same thing as 1 over 729. That's what this means, correct? Now, 1 over 729 divided by 81 is the same thing as 81 over 1. So times no. It's the same thing as 1 over 729 times 1 over 81. You always multiply by the reciprocal. Do not reciprocate the first one. You always multiply by the reciprocal. Now, what is 729 times 81? 59,049. Okay? So, that's how you have to do it. If you, and again, I'm taking you down memory lane of maybe grade 9, some grade 10, but all these things, oh yeah, multiplying by the reciprocal, that's what this first unit is really, that's why it's a lot more painful. After this, it's going to be pretty easy. You're not going to be struggling with these concepts again. Okay? So we have 1 over 59,049 equals r to the 5. Now, how do I find r? Okay, hands up, you guys. Who knows how to find r? Yes? If that was r squared, I could square root. Those are opposites. I need to do the 5 root, the 5th root. Now, a lot of you guys don't know how to do that, so let's just go to our calculator and I'll show you how. The way you do your 5th root is you get out of here and hit quit, clear the, you hit the number 5. Why? It's the 5th root. Then you hit the math button, and then you go down to number 5. That's a coincidence. So that is the 5th root of, and open your bracket, 1 divided by 59,049. Okay, that is the 5th root. So what I'm doing here, and you hit enter, and you get this, and then you can hit math, enter, enter, and you get 1/9. So just to reiterate, I said take the 5th root of both sides, and you'll get 1 over 9 equals r. Now when you have that, you can go up to here and multiply 81 by 1/9, and you get 9. If you take 9 and multiply by 1/9, you get 1. If you take 1 and multiply by 1/9, you get 1/9. When you take 1/9 times 1/9, you get 1 over 81. So that's how you fill them in. Okay? You want to keep moving here because I want to get these 2 examples done and give you time to work in class. Now again, we had this when we did arithmetic. We had 3 consecutive terms, term 1, term 2, and term 3. Now can anybody tell me, I want you to think, you guys, back to arithmetic. Can anybody tell me what you know about term 1, term 2, and term 3? What do you know? What? I heard it. It was right. R will be the same between them. Is that not correct? It says it's geometric. If it said it was arithmetic, we would say that the D is the same. It says that the ratio is the same. So if this is T1 and this is T, oops, I should write it right over top. This is T2 and this is T3. Is it not fair to say that T2 over T1 is the same thing as T3 over T2? because T2 over T1 is R, T3 over T2 is R must equal R, so that's safe to say. So let's get this stuff in there. That's x plus 3 over, oh, sorry, no it's not. It's x over x plus 3 equals x minus 5 over x. Okay, and to keep life simpler, put this in brackets, and there's two of them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so this is going to come up here, and this is going to come up here. So x times x is x squared equals x minus 5 times x plus 3. Okay? And what's that four-letter word in math that I need to do now? FOIL. Okay? And we haven't even done that this year. So that's going to, so FOIL, right? First, outer, inner, last. You guys never FOIL before? Whatever.
It's the West teachers.
No, but you guys are here last year. It has nothing to do with the West teachers. You guys didn't FOIL? Even Miss Johnson didn't FOIL with you guys? Okay, well that's what it stands for. Your first, your outer, your inner, and your last. And that's how to remember not to miss anything. So x squared is just saying x squared on that side. But x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Negative 5 times x is minus 5x. And negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Okay? I'm just coming up top here because I'm out of room. Now, I'm just going to combine on the right side. I have an x squared. I can't combine any, but I have a 3x minus 5x, and that's minus 2x minus 15. Okay, so all I've done is worked on the right side. I haven't done anything on the left right now. But if you have an x squared on the left and you have an x squared on the right, they're gone. Okay, because x squared minus x squared give you 0. So I really have a 0 on this side right now. Now, I want to get variables on one side and numbers on the other. So I want to get rid of this negative 2x. I don't want it on that side. So I will add 2x to both sides. So I will have 2x equals negative 15. Divide by 2. X equals negative 15 over 2. Now, what? Negative 2x? Because you get 3x minus 5x. Okay? Now, x equals 15 over 2. So I'm not done, you guys. I found x. Nobody cares. No one even asked me for x, but I needed it. Okay? So now I'm going to do my three terms. Term 1 was x plus 3. So that's negative 15 over 2 plus 3. Now remember, I can't add those two right now. I need a common denominator. So 3 would be the same thing as 6 over 2. So I'm going to cross the 3 out because I made it 6 over 2. So negative 15 and 6 is negative 9 over 2. So that's T1. Now T2, that's how all math should be. What's the answer to T2? Negative 15 over 2. T2 is x. And T3, see, look up here. T2 is x. I'm not just making this stuff up. I do make up a lot of stuff, don't worry, but I didn't make that up. Now T3 is x minus 5. So that is negative 15 over 2 minus, what's 5? 10 over 2, right? 5 over 1, 10 over 2. 15 minus, negative 15 minus 10 is negative 25 over 2. That's T3. Okay, that's T3, this is T2, and this is T1. Okay, one more, let's get through this quick. Okay, now, I don't know if you can think back to the D's where we were trying to, our arithmetic sequences. Remember the TQ minus TP over Q minus P? I could do that when they said the fourth term is this and the eighth term is this. I could use that. There was three ways, remember? So the common sense way, the formula way, and two equations. Okay? Well, with these, there's only one way, and that's with two equations. Okay? So the fourth term is, so T4 equals negative 54, and T7 is 1458. It says come up with the formula for this. Okay? And it's actually pretty easy. Now, I always do the bigger term, I always do on top. So remember the formula AR to the n minus, right? So AR to the 7 minus 1 equals 1458. All I did was put the seventh term into the one formula. And I know at the seventh term, it's 1458. And then I could do right underneath, I'm going to do AR to the 4 minus 1, right? Equals negative 54. Now I didn't want to skip this step, but to even simplify this even more, this would go to AR to the 6 equals 1458, and AR to the 3 equals negative 54. So everyone see what I did there? I just did the 7 minus 1 and the 4 minus 1. That's all I've done. Now, when we were doing arithmetic, what we did is we took the top and we subtracted from the bottom. Right? Remember that? What do we do for geometric? Divide. So we will divide the top by this. Okay? Now what's A divided by A? 1, right? A divided by A is 1. Now I want you to put up your hand for this one. Don't yell it out, please. What is, and when you give me the answer, you have to tell me why. What is R to the 6 divided by R to the 3? Don't yell it out, please. What is R to the 6 divided by R to the 3, and why? 2 people know the answer to this? 3? Come on, you guys. What is it? No. Yes. Why? Okay. When you divide powers, you subtract exponents. Now, how often will I get R to the 2 here? Very often. And it's so nice. Look, 6 divides by 3. If that was a 6 and a 4, oh, I bet you subtract. Yeah, that's right, you can divide. But because they divide nice, people go for that. So it is R to the 3. And what is 1458 divided by negative 54? Should get, hopefully, negative 27. Okay. How do I get R? Cube root. Can you please try and cube root both sides? So R should equal negative 3. Now that is a lot of information, because if I know R, it doesn't matter what formula I pick. I could use this formula right here, and if I put in negative 3 here, I'll put it to the 6th power, and then I'll divide them both out, and I'll get A. Does everyone see that? If I put it in this formula, I'd cube it, then I'm going to divide that out, and then I would get A. Why don't I use this formula? It's smaller, right? So we're going to use this, and we're going to put R in it. So I'm going to get A to the negative 3 cubed equals negative 54. Now this is the same thing as A times negative 27 equals negative 54. Then I will divide negative 27 out to both. And A will equal 2. Okay? I'm not done. It asked me for the general term. General term, the only unknown will be your n, because then I can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can figure out all my terms. So I know my A, I know my R. So my general term is Tn equals 2 times negative 3 to the n minus 1. That's my answer. Okay, we're going to do 1 to 5, 7 to 17, and for all of them that have multiples, do A, C, E, G, dot, dot, dot. So basically omit number 6 and do ACEGs for all of them, okay? So you got like 20 minutes. These things go fast. Get right on it. Your goal should be not to take homework, okay? So don't even rest. You can rest when you're dead. Give me 10 seconds. I got to scroll through these. Remember, I'm still taping. Okay, please don't start talking, guys. I do have people that have very busy lives. They don't have a lot of time after school and stuff. So for them, can you please be nice and quiet?